Good day and welcome back to Marriage Affairs with Pastor X. I hope you guys are well. I hope you are blessed, you are safe, health-wise, and also I trust that God is favoring you, even financially. I know what we are going through as a country, as globally actually, but as a country in particular. You know, I looked at the stats in terms of job losses and so forth. So today I want to share with you, for men in particular, how as a man you can be able to leave a legacy for your children, which is something very important and something that we tend to overlook, especially as black men. I was listening even this morning on Kaya FM. They were talking about wills, and the presenters, they were talking about amongst themselves, who has got a will, who doesn't have, what they think of a will. And one of the guys says, I have nothing to leave, and as a result, if I die now, it's pointless for me to put a will together, which is very sad. I'm talking about somebody who is in their late or early 30s, and we get to that point. Is it because we didn't prepare, or is it because we never had the opportunities, or we're only starting off? But regardless, it's better, I think, to know so that we can be able to work towards something that we know, something that we have learned. Okay. But before we get into the subject, remember there is at the bottom here a button that says subscribe. Make sure that you click that. It doesn't cost you anything. It just gives you a notification each time we add new material, and then you can be able to do that. You can even download this video using Wi-Fi. I won't give you ideas where. Some people do it at work, and then you go and watch it offline at home. So it doesn't cost you anything in that way. But when you talk legacy, and it's something that you will find in almost every one of my books, there is something that is pertaining to that, one way or the other. All right. So when you talk legacy, we talk go to a dictionary, you will see there's two things mainly that when you talk legacy, we're talking about. We're talking about property, and it talks about money. You can never talk legacy without talking those two things. It's either you leave money behind or you leave properties behind. Okay. And properties, well, cars are not, don't even count them as properties. You can leave your kids 100 cars, but that will mean nothing. Okay, they could just be stolen, get into an accident, and a lot of things could just happen. But it talks about that. But now, before we even go any further, if we want to talk now money first, because you cannot talk property without talking money, but at the same time you cannot talk money and, you know, not get to a point where you talk property. So if you talk money, as a man in particular, remember I said this is addressed particularly to men. As a man, you need to know how to make money, number one. Number two, you need to know how to save money. Number three, you need to know how to give money. And number four, you need to know how to invest money. Okay, so saving and investing are two different things. I'm not going to go deep into them because I'm not a financial advisor, but you need to gather that information. Go to your banker, go to the likes of Old Mutuals. They can be able, Momentums, they can be able to offer you different solutions that they might have. Okay, so I want just to highlight quickly a few things that if you want to leave a legacy as a man, where it starts. Before you start saying, I've got the money to leave behind, I've got properties to leave behind, there are few things that you need to get right. And when you get those things right, It makes it easy for you, your legacy, to have a good reputation to it. Okay, number one, you need not just work, you also need to hustle. Okay, but at the same time, you don't have to just hustle, you have to work. What do I mean? You need to have something that becomes your source of income. Something that you know, irrespective of whatever that happens, guaranteed at the end of the month or at the end of the week, whatever frequency that you choose, I'm going to have this much. And then the rest can be your hustle. You can make whatever else that you make. So I normally say, if you want to build now a legacy, you need to have, let's say your job, if you are working, your job obviously covers your monthly costs, your monthly bills, your running cost, all your operational costs. Now the question is, what are you building on? Because to be honest, it's just not possible to build from a salary that you are getting from a boss month to month. So you need to work and you need to hustle, and you need to hustle and need to work. So you need to be able to balance those two. And then the other thing that you need to do as a man to build a legacy, you need to act right. You need to live right. You need your kids to reference you and say, my father lived like this. You know, I always make an example of the Bible. You know, the people in the Bible, when they pray, when Jacob prays, when Joseph prays, he says, he prays to God, but he says, the God of my father, the God of your forefathers. All right? So it means somebody built a legacy by the way they lived so that they can even be referenced. Let your kids know when they are caught up in a situation where they have to choose between what is right and what is wrong, to choose between what is right and what is right. They can be able, at that state of confusion, to say, what would my father do in this kind of situation? So you need to live right. Number three, you need to be honest. You need to be a man of your word. You need to keep your word in everything that you do. Your kids need to know that your yes is a yes and your no is your no. You don't say one thing today and you wake up tomorrow saying something else. Okay, number four, you need to be grounded. Your purpose that you have that drives you as a man, it needs to be grounded to a bigger purpose. In other words, yes, you are a man, you are the head of the house and so forth, but your purpose, your vision, who is it submitted to? All right? You cannot just be a head without having a covering or a head over yourself. Okay? And then number five, you need to honor your wife and your kids with your time. They deserve your time. You need, yes, I said when I started, I said work, I said hustle, but that doesn't mean that work needs to take away and steal away from the time that you're supposed to spend with your kids. The time spent builds memories. You need your kids one day when they are old to say, this is what we used to do with my father. This is how it was like to be with my father. Every time my father comes back from home, this is what will happen. These are the things we used to do. These are the things we used to enjoy as a family. And we got to be, you know, to know life with these things. That way, even when your kids find spouses who don't treat them right, they know what is right. They know what a family life is because they've seen Daddy leading by an example, making time. He was not always away. He was not always just throwing money at problems, but he was there. He was right available to make sure that he is part of our lives. That is one of the ways that you live a legacy. Find something in line with your purpose. What is it that you can do even if you were not paid? Remember, I said you need to make money, you need to save money, and you need to give money, and you need to invest. So when you give money, you need to be able to align your goals, your purpose with something that you can be able to do even if you were not being paid. Because jobs are never guaranteed, the jobs that you have. What skill do you have? What is it that you can do that can be able to give you peace, to give you, and to a point where it even generates, some income for you. And then the other thing, when you want to leave a legacy, you need to be knowledgeable. You cannot be a man and be the head of the house, be the leader in your family, and not be knowledgeable about, especially on basic things. How do you acquire that? You read. That is why I even converted my books into audiobooks so that at least you can be able to listen, because as men, most of us, we don't like to read. We don't like to sit and read and say, this is something that I'm empowering myself with. Okay? And some are even academically, inclined. They study, but they don't read. You get them on, all they know, they just know academic books. Talk about them on generic stuff, general knowledge, nothing. Okay? And then the last thing that I want to put and throw at you is, as a man, as a father, if you want to leave a legacy, you need to lead your family, especially your kids, in godly things. Let your kids know that my father leads. Even if you are not a church-going person, but be that father who brings the family together and they sit around before they go to sleep and you say, baby, to your wife, can you pray for us? But the power of that, the kids, they see you taking the lead in doing that. They see you making that a possibility for them to go and be led into godly things. You know what? A lot of things change. Culture change, evolves, and so forth. But one thing that I've seen that doesn't change is God. The word of God hasn't changed. It's still the same God that I knew, 20-something years ago. It's the very same God that I can feel confident to teach to my kids. Yes, people might have different revelations. They might preach different things. But I promise you, if as a father you lead your kids in godly ways, they will never forget you. They might go astray, but they always have something to go back to, something that you have as a father taught them. Thank you so much for listening. That's me, Pastor X. And if you want to get hold of us, remember, you can be able to get in touch via WhatsApp on 083 3317350, or you can check out my Facebook page, Marriage Affairs, or Instagram, Marriage Affairs, and anything else if you want to know about our events, or we've just launched a loyalty card, loyalty program. If you want to be part of that, send us a WhatsApp and we'll send you all the details. It's amazing benefits, amazing rewards that could benefit you as an individual, but that will also benefit your marriage. May God bless you and have a blessed time.